Welcome to Blacktop Rocks, the podcast, episode 7 this
Yes.
time, Corinn.
Yes.
I'm GM Blacktop, and this is Corinn. And today we're going to do something a little different. I happen to be out in Nanaimo, BC, because I had to come out here for work. And so this is where Corinn lives. So she said, hey, why don't we do a podcast in the flesh? I said,
Yes.
okay. What do you think?
That's awesome.
Yeah, I had a good boat ride today.
Yeah.
I fell asleep on the boat.
Okay.
Well, in the truck on
Yeah,
the boat.
not on the boat, on the deck.
Well, I was on the boat, but when I woke up, all the cars were out of the boat. The guy said, are you ready to go yet? And I said, no.
Did you make a round trip back to Twassen?
Yeah, I ended up in Twassen again. I was like, what happened? No, it was quite a nice experience, except, the food was okay.
White Spot?
Hmm?
White Spot restaurant?
Is that what it's called?
I think so. Last time I was there, that's
The
what
White
it was.
Spot. Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds odd. So anyway, we're going to do things a little differently this time, aren't we?
Yes.
You're going to pretend you're an interviewer.
I'm a journalist tonight.
She's a journalist.
Going to interview GM and fill us in.
So I'm just going to sit here and answer your questions. How's that?
Okay. Well,
You have some, do you?
I have a few.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
See if we
ask
and you
away.
you can fill in if
I'll fill in,
there's
yeah.
anything. So, you just to refresh everybody and fill them all in. You're a trucker, singer-songwriter, award-winning musician,
I am.
and you started out in Ontario.
I did.
That's where you're born and raised.
Manitoulin Island.
Mhm.
I was born on the largest freshwater island in the world,
Mhm.
apparently, allegedly.
Okay,
Yeah, and raised up in Northern Ontario. Yeah.
nice. You enjoyed it up there.
Yeah, it was great. Hockey and outdoor sports.
Yeah.
It was great.
So you're into all the
It's not
sports?
like, in those days, we're talking a few decades ago, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like more
Okay.
than a few decades ago. And those days, life was a little simpler and kids got along.
Yeah.
I remember in Northern Ontario, it was just kind of funny because at that time, Sudbury wasn't really developed so much.
Mhm.
It had a town, but there was some outskirts going on. So at the time, there wasn't nearly as much influence of other countries and whatnot. So we spent our time as youngsters. We had wars with the French against the English
Oh no.
and literally had fights over it.
Oh dear.
And it was kind of like we got to the point where, okay, let's go play football instead.
Yeah.
And then all my friends growing up were all French, some English,
Yeah.
and we played sports, hockey every night. And
So you beat the crap out of each other on the
We
playing
did.
field.
I'll tell you a funny story. We had I'll never forget this name. The guy's name was David McPhail. I probably shouldn't say his name.
No,
but
maybe not. Too late.
won't care. And the other guy was Paul Bradley. So there was a scheduled fight.
Mhm.
David was David was English. Paul was French.
Yeah.
And so the deal was that we were supposed to meet at the park, and those two are going to beat the crap out of each other. So Paul's sitting there waiting for David McPhail to show up, and all of a sudden he lived around the corner. All of a sudden he comes around the corner. The guy's wearing goalie equipment
Oh.
to protect himself in this fight. Of course, everybody's splitting their guts, laughing so
Yeah.
hard. There was no fight.
No.
But he showed up in goalie equipment.
Yeah.
To
Oh, he was trying to protect himself.
He was. But anyway, so yes, I had a very good childhood. I was really lucky
Oh.
that I had a good childhood and people were nice.
Yeah.
The times were good,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's how it was back then.
Yeah, man. And then, in those days you could watch Archie Bunker and not get in trouble,
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
Sanford and Son. And
Ugh.
now that's not happening.
No chance of those shows being on now.
Mm-mm-mm.
They wouldn't even
So-
make pilot stage.
They would not. So that's where I was born anyway
Yeah.
and
Nice.
raised.
So what got you into trucking?
The need for money. I was training horses at the time, and a friend of mine was a truck driver, and we were down in Port Colborne, Ontario, which is down near Niagara Falls.
Mhm.
And my friend Ben said, "I'll teach you how to drive a truck. Spend the summer with me." So I went out trucking with him for the summer. The two of us sleeping side by each in a bed in the sleeper.
Cozy.
me driving, him driving. And I remember he never told the dispatcher that he had me in the truck.
Oh no.
So we were pulling off and in those days, it was all paper log, right?
Yeah,
There's no
yeah.
ELD.
Yeah.
So we were pulling off miles, and the dispatcher was like, "My God, you are one amazing trucker."
You're a
saying to my friend.
machine.
Meanwhile, he's having a good night's sleep every night, and
Yeah.
we're both pounding down the road. I got a few sore arms over it, grinding gears.
Yeah.
You know, one time he hit me so hard I couldn't even hold the gear shift.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, it was a good experience. So anyway, then I borrowed his truck
Yeah.
to get my license, and first chance I went out there and
Yeah.
got my license,
Yeah.
and the rest is history. That was 1992.
So you've been trucking since then,
92.
straight through.
I've had different things that I've done in my life. You know, had a dispatching company for a while. I went to the Philippines for a while, you know, blah, 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 several years.
Mhm.
Uh, but trucking has been the staple of my career. Yes.
How many miles or kilometers, miles, do you think you have up now?
Probably 3 million miles,
Wow,
5 million kilometers.
that's impressive.
Well, I don't know if it's impressive. It's tiring as hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, you know, yeah, so a lot.
Well, especially with when you had the paper logs, you guys would just push, push, push.
Yeah, push, push, push. Yeah. In fact, in the days before me, it was even bigger push, push, push. It was all it was about pill, pill, pill.
No, oh no, yeah.
They used to have there's a song called Freightliner Fever, and he calls it a West Coast turnaround.
Mm-hmm.
He says he would deliver on the West Coast and pop a couple bennies and
Oh,
turn right around
geez.
to go the
Oh
other
my
direction.
goodness, yeah.
Yeah, the trucking in those days was kind of I don't want to say raunchy. There was some wonderful people on
Rough.
CB radios, and it was rough, but it was also you didn't have all the rules
Mm-hmm.
that they have now, you know, and so it made things a little bit more. I don't know, maybe a little bit more freedom, a little bit
Yeah.
more, you know, antics.
Mm-hmm.
Where now you don't have antics. You don't people barely even talk on the radio anymore. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I usually talk on the radio quite a bit, but it's usually by myself.
Yeah, we talked about that
We
in our
did.
last episode.
Yeah.
About the CBs that
Yeah.
you said you talk to yourself quite a bit.
Well, yeah, there's nobody out there.
Yeah.
You know,
I wonder why, if it's just technology, do you think?
I think it's technology, and I think that see, back in those days, the French channel was 19, or the English channel was 19.
Mm-hmm.
I think the French channel was 12. And now, of course, you got the Indian channel. I think that's 31. I'm not sure. But it just kind of fabricated, like dispersed into all these different areas. And then the technology came in.
Mm-hmm.
And then it came to the point where the whites didn't want to talk to the browns, and browns didn't want to talk to the whites. And it became a problem, you know, culturally.
Mm-hmm.
And so the CB just kind of fell off. Most guys, I'd say, still have one, but very few talk on them, half the time because they're on the phone. You know?
I was going to ask, are the CBs even available if somebody wanted one?
Hell yeah.
So it hasn't gone obsolete.
Hell no, I got mine. I got my CB. It's ready to go.
But if say a new truck driver started, you know, somebody started trucking and they wanted one, they could still access.
Yeah, but they wouldn't know how to talk on one.
No.
Hello, is anybody there?
They want to be punching in.
There's a big difference between hello, is anybody there? And how about it, you spell? There's a big difference.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of learn the lingo, right?
Yeah, they'd have to watch Smokey and the
They
Bandit.
would. Yeah, what a great movie. Have you seen that movie?
Oh yeah, for sure. A few times.
Beautiful. And Convoy, have you seen that movie?
Yeah, I think so.
Chris Christopherson?
Yeah. Long time ago, but yeah, I've seen it. And so through your career of trucking, what types of loads have you had, your experiences with different
Most of my experience
companies?
has been in flatbed,
Mm-hmm.
you know, equipment. I've done some oversized reefer, and that's not the type you smoke, but the type you keep cool in a reefer unit.
Yeah.
RVs, you know, equipment, stuff like that. I've never hauled a tanker.
Would you if you had the opportunity?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I could do it.
Yeah.
They all have baffles in there nowadays.
A bit more dangerous.
Well, I don't know if it's dangerous. I mean, I guess it is if you're lighting a cigarette up near your trailer. If you throw your cigarette in a trailer full of gasoline, you might not make it.
Yeah, no, that would be an issue.
So yeah, a lot of experience, a lot of livestock, you know, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's been.
Well, that must be interesting.
Yeah, mostly
livestock.
horses. Cause we used to train horses, so we used to have a big trailer that we used to haul around in. You know, haul them around in. So you know, it was lots of experience hauling.
Yeah, when we became friends 2 years ago through another podcast, you were hauling vegetables, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was hauling veggies down to Florida.
Yeah. So that was interesting. You had the
Cucumbers
reefer.
and pepper. One time I remember I was hauling tomatoes to Georgia from Canada, and one of the drops I had left one of the skids by itself back there, and you know, make a long story short, the tomatoes didn't hold quite as well as they should have, and some of the pallet flipped over.
Oh no.
So we lost like a third of the pallet.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I started picking them up. And he says, you can't pick those up. I said, why can't I pick those up? He says, once they're on the floor, they're garbage. You bought them.
Oh.
So to make a long story short, that cost me $1,000 US.
Oh no.
And went to the truck stop and I was literally giving away tomatoes to truck drivers. Because I said, if I'm paying you $1,000, I'll be fucked if you're taking
Yeah.
all those
Yeah.
home with you.
That's a lot of tomato sandwiches.
So I took them all and then said, who wants to, on the CB, free tomatoes. I'm sure everybody thought I was on
Yeah.
drugs or out of my mind,
Yeah.
one of the two.
New lingo.
Free tomatoes, just come over here to this big reefer. What?
Oh my
Anyway,
goodness.
so I got rid of them all. The guys are showing, I'll have a box, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's too funny. So how has trucking changed since you started?
Like I
Sounds
said,
like quite a bit.
it has changed quite a bit. It's a lot more strict now with the log
Yeah.
books and even with some of the mechanical stuff. Um, the DOT, now the log books is a little different. In those days, in the early days before ELD came in, we had to manually keep our logbook up. So it's quite often that you'd go in and they'd say, give me your book, and you'd reach into your thing and decide which book you're going to give them. Sometimes we used to carry more than one. And but now you can't. So now they don't bother you as much with the logbook because they know you're on ELD.
Right.
But I have some friends that have older trucks that are still able to use logbooks.
Okay. What's the regulations on that?
The year, if it's below, if it's older than 1999.
Yeah.
So they run around in these older trucks. And one of my friends has an 84, and another one has a 98. And they're the ones that make the most money.
Yeah. Yeah, they break the rules a little bit, maybe.
Well, it's paper log, right?
Yeah.
But in the old days, the DOT used to, ask for that stuff. But now they don't need to because they know it.
So if it's paper log, there's no regulation, nothing watches you. Like you can override it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's all manipulatable.
Yeah.
And even on your digital log, they could still use a digital log instead of a paper log, but it doesn't go into like an ELD. An ELD you can't change. If I start driving, I can't, scratch anything out. There's no scratching. You can't
pause.
do that.
You can't pause
you're
it?
there. Nah, there's
Hit
no
the
pause.
button.
No. So, I mean, that's a big change. And, culturally is a big change too. Like the whole demographic for Canada has changed.
Yeah.
And it's got nothing to do with race or anything other than the fact that the demographic of the foreigner type truck driver that has come onto the circuit in the last 20 years used to be 20% and now it's 80%.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of flipped the industry, if that makes any sense. Not that it's a bad thing. It's not.
It's a change.
It's just a change, cultural change.
So with those changes, would you recommend, if somebody was interested in being a trucker, would you recommend it?
Well, I think that probably for some people, I mean, some people just can't go to work every day, and some people, and with trucking it's different. I find that it's really weird because you can be on the road for a week and you're really like, oh God, I can't wait to get home for a day or two. And then you get home for 3/4 of a day and it's like you're looking at your dispatch. Where are we going again?
Yeah.
So you're kind of looking forward to going in. It's really addictive. It's also hard on your heart because you're just you're alone all the time.
Yeah.
Right. So, and the people around you, it's hard on them. It's dangerous. I mean,
yes,
you really push your luck when it comes to the highway. I mean,
anytime you're in the traffic,
idiots. I mean, I think about often, coming down on these, when you're in a construction zone, you're doing 65 and that other guy's doing 65 and there literally is this much between the mirrors when you pass.
Yeah.
Right.
Scary.
And if a person really wanted to have a really bad day, all they'd have to do is do this one little bit and they've just, how many people are dead in that accident?
Or even just a little bit of a distraction.
Anything, especially with texting nowadays.
Yeah.
A lot of people are, I mean, on the phone is one thing, but sitting there writing emails is another. As soon as you take your eyes off the road, it means that if a deer jumps in front of you, I mean, I hit a bear about 6 months ago, a bear.
Yeah.
And I had no chance, but I wasn't doing any talking, texting or anything, but it just this thing, 2 in the morning jumped out of nowhere,
Well, and that wasn't with your semi either.
No, that was in my dually.
Yeah.
$12,000 for the damage.
A smaller truck.
Now that dually has got a little transmission problem, but it's got a really big moose guard on the front. Next bear to that thing is
Yeah.
not going to be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. So what would you say in all the years of your trucking was the scariest or most tense moment?
Okay.
Or maybe a few?
Yeah, there's probably a couple hundred, but one of the weirdest things that I ever experienced was there was three of us running down I-95 in North Carolina, and it was like middle of 2 in the morning,
Mhm.
something like this. And I'm second in line. There was a guy behind me, and my friend, same guy that taught me, Ben, was ahead of us, was in the front of the line.
Yep.
So all of a sudden, out of no, and keep in those times we had CBs, right? We were talking CBs. So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, his truck just veers left, hard left on the highway.
And where were
So
you in the lineup?
behind him.
Okay.
So then I think I better go right. So all he says, he grabs his microphone and says, "Don't go to the right." So
Oh,
I go
no.
back to the left. I miss the car. I'm behind him. The guy behind me misses because we all went to the left. There was a guy on the highway, 2 in the morning, no lights on his car,
Yeah.
waving.
Oh, no.
He's in the slow lane,
Wow.
in the lane, right? His wife's in the car. Maybe she can't get out or something.
Yeah.
And there was an engine, like a car engine, not his. He ran into a car engine
Holy.
that had dropped out of somebody's truck
Oh, my gosh.
and ran into that thing at 70
Yeah.
mile an hour. And so his car was demoed.
Dumb.
And he was trying to save his wife, so he was risking himself, waving. We both went up to the next truck stop, and we just looked at each other and went, "You got to be fucking, you
Oh,
got to be kidding me,
yeah.
right?"
That's scary.
Like he's lucky he made it through that.
Yeah.
There was no lights. I mean, we're talking the interstate, no lights, 2 in the morning.
Wow.
Some guy, you know. So anyway, that was probably maybe the
Yeah.
scariest. Yeah,
That's pretty bad.
yeah, it
Pretty
is.
bad. So if you were to turn back time,
Mm.
back to when you started trucking,
I'd be 18 again.
would would you
I'd be a virgin.
Okay, well that's good to know. But would you start the trucking? Would you go into trucking again? Knowing what
I think that nowadays you have to have some money because you have to buy a school.
Mhm.
Unless I think they have programs, but would I go into trucking? Yeah, probably not.
Like for the profession itself.
Probably not. The whole trucking thing didn't come to me when I was 18 anyway. I was about 20, no more than that. I would have been about mid 20, late 20s maybe.
Mhm.
And so it wasn't an 18-year-old. I didn't grow up wanting to be a trucker. I always liked trucks.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, I had a CB radio and I used to put it in my car, and, talking bullshit on
Yeah.
other people that had them because it was popular in those
Yeah.
days. But I think that the overall culture of trucking has changed. So it
Yeah.
probably wouldn't, for a guy like me, it probably wouldn't entice me as much.
Would be
to-
attractive to
Probably
go that
not.
route.
Probably not because it's all, nowadays it's all forms and rules, and
Mhm.
it doesn't have quite the freedom that it used to.
Mhm.
But now I've been doing it for so long, it's kind
Yeah.
of what I do, right?
Yeah.
That and write music.
Yeah.
And had I not been a trucker, I would never become a prolific songwriter. My being a songwriter was, I didn't really write a whole lot of songs before my late 20s.
Okay.
I played guitar.
Yeah.
But it was during the trucking industry and a divorce and having a young baby son
Yeah.
at home, I became a prolific songwriter, like mile after mile.
Mhm.
I wrote, I don't know, 100 songs.
That's kind of a perfect segue into the next section.
Oh, was it?
Songwriting. I
Oh,
was going to ask
yeah.
you. I was going to ask you when and what was the first song you ever wrote?
I wrote one song when I was 17, but I didn't write another one until I was 28.
Mhm.
The song I wrote when I was 17, was called, I forget what it was called.
Forget what it was called.
I could think of a few words, but, and then I think that, and I was always a, classic rock guy, I liked some country music, but I found that when I started writing, I liked writing ballads and I liked writing faster songs too, but they were kind of more country rock.
Mhm.
And so then my own style developed, and to this day is developed to what I do now.
Yeah.
So the songwriting was really a combination of all the things. A lot of it happened to me in life. A lot of it was
Mhm.
true. A lot of it, some of it was fictitious. But somebody once told me when they heard my second album, which was real, the one I recorded in Nashville, they said, if you listen to that whole album front to back, you'll know who this dude is
Mhm.
because it's all there. Would you
That's very
agree with
true.
that?
Totally.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah, totally. When I started listening to your music, I could tell that you were it was like storytelling.
Yeah, yeah.
And I knew not every single part of it was
Right.
true, but you could tell that it was part of your life,
Yeah. And
what
I
you were
think that
retelling.
some of the sadness in my life paved the road for some of that. Like I said, I was divorced when my son was very young,
Mhm.
over music
Mhm.
and being away all the time. So
Yeah.
that was, another reason. And I guess that lonesome sort of guilty sort of, I'm a dad now and look what I'm doing. I think a lot of that came out as almost therapy for
Mhm.
me to get through
Yeah.
those tough times.
Yeah.
I really say that
Yeah.
honestly. I think that that's what happened.
So, your strongest influences would be life experience
Oh yeah.
and road experience on the road experiences.
Yeah, I was very close with my mom, who, rest her soul, is gone now. We just lost her back in last December.
Mhm.
But she always had Elvis on in the house.
Mm.
Like she was a huge Elvis fan.
Yeah.
So you talk about the song "Real McCoy," and it talked about,
Mm.
born the son of a preacher man.
Yeah.
All that's true.
Yeah.
Mama taught me about love and manners, and
Yeah.
Elvis taught me to be cool because.
Yeah.
So in essence, my mom taught me how to have a sort of a cool persona,
Mhm.
and I really believe that Elvis and his charisma sort of you know filtered down a little bit on trying to make me
Yeah.
some sort of entertainer.
Yeah.
I'm not something funky going
Yeah.
on.
So you didn't have musicians in the house, but music
My
was
dad played guitar.
Oh, you did?
He
Okay.
taught me how to play guitar, and he had a big stand-up bass, and I played bass guitar as well before I played guitar.
Uh-huh.
But I never played stand-up bass.
Yeah.
And my dad had a Hawaiian guitar,
Ukulele?
and he had that too.
Oh, okay.
So he was kind of musical. My mother sang in the choir at church, so she was always vocalizing. So I think between the two of them, I
Mhm.
just kind of
You're
found
the
my
whole
place.
package.
I mean, I just kind of found my place. I
Yeah.
don't know. It was weird,
Yeah.
you know. But neither of my sisters play an instrument
No, they don't sing
or
either
sing.
or anything?
Mm-mm.
Well, you got
I
all
have
the
two
musical
sisters.
ability from your
Well,
mom and
I don't know
dad.
about
They gave it all
that.
to you?
I don't know about that, but it's just that was my influences.
Yeah.
They influenced me
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite artist?
Well, I like so many different genres that,
Yeah.
in Elvis's world, I loved Elvis,
Yeah.
and I loved Def Leppard, and I
Yeah.
loved, Nirvana, and I
Mhm.
loved, a lot of guys,
Mhm.
a lot of bands,
Yeah.
Aerosmith, and country guys, even guys like Conway Twitty, even
Yeah.
Tammy Wynette, and some of these
Mhm.
old crying tunes. They probably helped by listening to that kind of stuff. I think probably helped me to get in touch with my crying tune side,
Mhm.
where I
Yeah.
could write a crying tune,
Yeah.
and I'll have to tell you, I did a lot of crying sometimes writing my tunes
Oh,
too.
boy.
Yeah, so
Brought up a lot of
Sunday,
feelings.
yeah, he writes the sermons was about my dad.
Yeah.
Sunday was about my son.
Yeah.
Um, for who I am was about my son and his mom.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of sadness in some of my songs,
Yeah.
and some of my songs are about highballing down the highway, and
Yeah.
some of my songs are about chicks. You know,
No.
you guys better have the chicks in there.
Of course. Of course.
So it was quite a range.
So, did you have one artist that inspired you the most? Or
Elvis,
if you it is Elvis? That's what I figured. Yeah.
I would say,
Yeah.
yeah, probably Elvis. Not because he had, he wasn't really, well, in those days he was a rock guy, but
Mhm.
I think the reason I loved Elvis so much was it really helped me to understand my mom, maybe identify
Okay.
with my mom
Mhm.
better.
Yeah.
Because later, as I started to write and sing and play, whenever I'd be around my mom, when I wasn't, playing one of my songs or she wasn't at one of the shows, and I was just fooling around, I'd play Elvis songs, and
Yeah.
she'd love to listen to me
Aw.
play her
Yeah.
Elvis songs.
Yeah.
And then she got dementia, so I used to bring the guitar to the nursing home
Mhm.
and play all the songs in there for
Yeah.
her. And then that slowly disappeared, and as she was dying,
Aw.
and so yeah, I would say that that was my biggest influence.
So when you would go play the Elvis songs or your music for her, did it perk her up? Did she
Oh yeah,
seem to respond?
until the very end. Yeah, she'd sometimes. I've got videos of her
Yeah,
dancing and getting
yeah,
up, dancing around her
yeah.
room, and just loved it. Just and she was always she had wonderful beat.
Mhm.
My mom, even when she had dementia, often I'd be playing a faster Elvis song or whatever,
Mhm.
and she would literally, you could see her
Tapping or
tapping to
something.
the
Oh,
correct beat.
yeah,
So she felt it as well,
yeah,
but she just couldn't. You're in the later days, she just
yeah.
couldn't express herself, right?
That's interesting that even with dementia, and maybe she couldn't have a conversation with
She
you,
couldn't.
she picked up on the music.
The music she did pick up
Yeah,
on. Even my sisters would say that. They
yeah,
said, yeah, she really identified. Until she was to the point where she was too
yeah,
far gone. Then
yeah,
she didn't identify with
yeah.
anything. But
Oh, that must have meant a lot to you
it
for her
was
to pick
tough.
up on that.
There's a song I'll never forget this as long as I live. There's a song that Elvis didn't write it. He sang it. He never wrote a song. Did you know that? He wrote one
I
song, I
thought
think.
I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't a writer.
Okay.
But anything he touched became money for some
Yeah.
writer.
Yeah. Of course.
uh, there's a song he wrote called "I've Lost You," and it wasn't about losing your parent. It was just about losing somebody. And I remember I went to her room one day in the nursing home, and I played that song, and it just came over me like a ton of bricks. That "I've lost you" means that I've lost you.
Yeah.
You're gone.
Yeah.
And I broke down and cried. And the
Oh
nurses came in. Are you okay, sir? And I was like, I'm just being a little bitch.
no.
you know, it was actually kind of embarrassing because I literally broke down realizing that I'd lost her right then, and that
Yeah.
stuck with me to this day.
Yeah. Oh, that's sad, but it's an important
It,
part of
it
your
is
life.
important because for me it was my way of grieving somebody who's still alive.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's
Yeah.
terrible. Dementia is no fun.
Well, I've heard that before about dementia, that you lose the person way before you actually lose them. Like
It's like
it
grieving
takes.
them alive.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So it's pretty neat.
Dementia takes them away.
Yeah, it does.
So I was wondering what your musical influence was. You've kind of touched on that with a bit with the family and Elvis and other musicians, I guess, other bands.
My musical influence
Musical influence.
of which artist?
Yeah, like
Well,
what
Elvis and
external influence?
well, yeah, probably Elvis
Yeah.
was a big one. April Wine. I used to love April Wine. Used to love, so many different bands. I loved all genres. I even loved old trucking music,
Mm-hmm.
which was typically country.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Cash,
Yep.
and
Yep.
I think Johnny Cash had a bit of an influence on me in the sense that a lot of my songs, or some of my songs, have that kind of train beat. Do you know what I mean by a train beat?
I think so. Yeah.
It's got that
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of a beat like that.
Yeah.
And Johnny Cash had that sort of train beat in his
Mm-hmm.
songs.
Yeah.
And I think that it influenced me in some of my road type songs to put that train beat in there.
Mm-hmm.
But like in the case of Blacktop Made Me This Way, I've done that, but there's more layered on top. It's not just a simple, old country song.
Yeah.
It's got layers of different types of different feels in the music and blah blah blah. It's still about trucking,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have that laid back trucking feeling. It's more upbeat and maybe a
So
little more
the
rocky.
trucking part of it is adding your own spin to it.
Yeah, I think that the basis is there, like the Johnny Cash train beat basis,
Yeah.
and then I just put my own spin on it. Yeah,
Mhm.
my own, different at a different age,
Yeah.
different time,
Yeah.
different,
Yeah.
influences.
Yeah, everything changes as time goes on.
Yeah.
And when did you get started in the music business, actually?
About I've probably been in this business since 2000 no, probably 1999,
Oh, yeah.
somewhere in there.
And did you have a band at the time?
Yeah, we used
Put a
to play
band
the
together?
bars and yeah.
Yeah.
And then I got to the point where I didn't want to play bars anymore. I wanted to do more of my own music because I was a prolific writer.
Yeah.
And so we slowly started working on, festivals and
Mhm.
things like
Mhm.
that. And I had a manager at the time. Her name was Kathy. She wasn't very good, She was. She did
Yeah.
a good job getting us to shows and stuff,
Yeah.
but it just in the early days it was fun, but and it was still fun in the later days, but then in the later days came some pressure. at that time I had a trucking company with, trying to push the music and sponsors, and we were dealing with an economy, and all of a sudden, the fuel started getting really high,
Yeah.
and the company just fell apart.
Yeah.
So did
There
the
was too many
sponsors.
external.
There's too many things. I was trying to take trucking and music and push them down the road together, and for a while it worked.
Yeah.
I was, we were going picking up loads, and then we would deliver the load, and then we'd bring 2 trailers to the festival and load up the band, and next thing you know, we'd then go back to the loads, and so it was kind of, and I think we did all right for a while, but when the fuel got high, we didn't have a gig where we could get that fuel surcharge.
Yeah.
And it just knocked the shit. I started losing like 60 grand a month.
Oh, geez.
And in 9 months we were emptied out.
Yeah, you can't go very long on that.
So that really changed. That really was the low point for me. It changed everything when you lose 10 trucks, like that. And made me really evaluate what we're really doing here, So part of that was the times, part of that was the economy, part of that was, just whatever. And I was trying to put a big marketing program together. And so that kind of affected things. So it also helped me to write things too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't write always about being on top of the mountain. Sometimes
No.
your best writing is when you're in the valley.
Yeah.
So I think that for me, my writing has been a combination of both, but I definitely never, I don't take for granted that I've written some stuff in my low times.
Do you feel music has changed since you first entered the industry?
Oh, yeah. I mean, nowadays songwriters can't make any money for starters because everybody's getting it free, right? So
yeah, with all the
in
streaming
those
services.
days, it was a big deal. You'd sell CDs, you'd sell albums. Some guys are selling vinyl again.
Yeah, they're going back to that.
Helix and some of these big rock bands, they're selling vinyl. I've considered it, but yeah, I mean, the marketing is maybe in T-shirts and different things like that, but it's not the day where you can go and buy 1,000 CDs and try to sell them for $10 each. It just doesn't work.
People just turn
They
around.
don't even know what a CD player is. Most people.
No. I don't think vehicles even come with them anymore.
They don't. So it's
we could
times have changed.
sell the chips with the songs
We should
on
figure something out.
at performances instead of a CD.
Yeah, we should.
And they can plug that in and play.
I don't know if they can do that or not. Maybe they can.
I think so.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that.
Yeah, we'll look into
that. So what do you think was your most memorable performance in your career so far? Or on a personal level? What?
Most memorable performance it involved my son and my mom. It wasn't long after I'd wrote the song Sunday, which was about my son, which is a pretty impactful song, powerful song.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know the song. I knew the song, but I hadn't performed it very much. And I remember it was a sunny day, had my sunglasses on. And at that time, my son wasn't coming to all my shows. I mean, a lot of times he couldn't make it to the show or whatever, but my mom usually came to the shows.
No.
She was always there for me. Anyway, that day he was there. And so we were performing the song. I started singing that song. And all of a sudden, my mom sends my son out to the front of the stage with me.
Oh.
Right? So I'm now doing this, and now I'm doing this. And I just broke down.
Oh, no.
Right? Tears rolling down my face.
Yeah.
Get your shit together. You're embarrassing me. Right? So I'll never forget that moment. But there's an end to this story. And that is about 3 years later. By that time, I'd sang it 100 times on stage. He was again at the show. And I remember it was a grandstand. We were doing a demolition derby. And there was a big grandstand. I don't know, a couple thousand people probably. And so I started singing the song Sunday again, blah, blah, blah. So what does she do? She sends him out again.
Oh, no.
Right?
Tested you again.
Tested me again. But this time, I had sang the song so often.
Yeah.
I just pulled my microphone out of its, out of its stand.
Yeah.
And goddamn if he didn't start singing that song.
Oh, nice. So you ended up in tears again.
And no, no, this time I did not. I was kind of leaned down and we were both kind of singing it.
Yeah.
And then when the song finished, the crowd just was like losing her shit.
Yeah.
And that was it. And I went backstage, and I looked at my mom after the show, and I said, that was a little risky, but thanks. I love you.
She tested
Considering the first time that happened, it was a shit show.
Yeah.
You know?
So how was he for singing? Maybe he should pursue the career too?
I don't think he wants to. I don't think he's he likes to dance. I don't think he's a dancer.
Yeah.
He lives in Thailand, for God's sake. I don't think that he, unless I'm wrong, I don't think he sings.
Yeah. Should check into it.
But he does dance.
Yeah.
I know he likes to be Antonio Banderas with all the senoritas doing
Yeah.
that salsa stuff. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and you've got 3 CDs recorded, and we've got a 4th kind of in the works.
We've got overdrive tracks.
Yeah.
We have Rio. That's the one that was done in Nashville with Jack Gavin from Charlie Daniels Band, and Jimmy Mattingly, Garth Brooks fiddle player, and a bunch of guys. Yeah. Some Reba guy, Kent Wells from Reba McEntire's band. So Dave Fowler, it just, we're really lucky to have that CD. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the second one. Third one is Still Real, which is produced by a friend of mine who's also the bass player for Daryl Gray, and has been for years. Yeah. So he produced my latest CD, Still Real. And now we're thinking about, we probably have enough material to build a 4th CD, but so looking forward to seeing that. I've got some, good songs that we can put on that. So we'll see what happens. We call them CDs, though. Like I said, nobody has CDs anymore. So,
albums.
But yeah, let's just say I've got 3 projects and another one in the works. Yeah. But I don't know if anybody's buying CDs anymore. So.
Well, still put out the songs and see what happens. Yeah. And we'll book performances and get that going in 2026.
Yeah, well, you're doing such a great job that I sure appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. I enjoy it.
I've enjoyed talking to you here too. This is nice to have a podcast that's kind of like in the flesh rather than just one person here, one person
we've known
there.
each other for a few years, and this is the first time we've met in person. We've done all our work over internet, over video, and that. So it's been nice
it's been great
to meet in person.
So this was episode 7.
Yeah.
And we thank everybody for being here, those who have had a chance to listen to a few minutes or more than a few minutes. Yeah. And we look forward to your emails and your comments. And what's the email again?
blacktoprockspodcast@gmail.com.
And what's the website again?
www.gmblacktopic.com. He's testing me again.
You better say it again, because I don't think anybody caught that.
I kind of started laughing because you do this to me every time. I need it written down. It's like on the spot. The website is www.gmblacktopmusic.com.
Yeah, so that's great. So until next time, y'all, thank you.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.
Yeah, the blacktop made me this way. Yeah, the blacktop made me this way. Yeah, the blacktop made me this way.